Hello. Thank Godot it's Friday. How's it going? Hey, Rhiannon Journey, Smooth in a Second, Sapphire Starship. Hey, Fusionist. How's it going? Song sounds like we're in an episode of Bridgerton. This is the way we live now. That's a trollop joke. Hey, Rhiannon. Oh no, Sapphire Starship. The 55 stream streak. That's incredible. Streak saved. You're able to actually stay for a short bit this Friday. I'll have to go to the store. That's incredible. 5 stream streaks. That's more than 11 weeks. I can't believe it. You like haven't missed a stream. It's outrageous. How's it going, Fusionist? It's going good. How are you doing? We're doing some experiments here, which will continue shortly. As soon as this crazy song is over. I can put on something a little more reasonable. How are you doing? You got any game jams or anything upcoming you're excited for? I know global game jams going on right now. It's a little much for me, but... You missed one. You were able to save the streak the next day. Nice, nice. Rhiannon Journey, you think your 55 was yesterday? Impressive. You just got LD coming in April. You're focused on bringing your slot machine game to completion. Nice, nice. Yeah, that'll be cool. If you're making a slot machine game, now's the time, right? I have no illusions about being able to like make a game within the time that like it's a hot genre or whatever. Like I'm making like a desktop companion game kind of, or a more idle or cozy kind of focused game as like a sub game within this game. And I'm like, by the time that's done, it's going to be such a saturated market. No one will care. But it's like, I operate way too slowly to take advantage of stuff like that. But yeah, it's like, if you've got a slot machine game, get that out. Get that out now. That's cool. Yeah, I think I'll do LD in April, Ludum Dare. Or excuse me, Ludum Dare, because we all speak Latin for some reason. Should have just called it the Game Dare Jam or something. And yeah, and Down to Jam is in March, the weekend before GDC. At least it's the weekend before and not the weekend after, like last year. So I think I'm going to do Down to Jam as well. Let's get it going. Let's get everything up here. So for anyone who is new, aka High VODs, we're working on an FTL-like isometric 2D game in Godot. We have a rendering solution for our kind of pseudo 3D spaceship area. You know, it's tile map layer based, but that's not performant enough, and it's limited in that it can only really be used for the environment. So we're working on a new rendering kind of pipeline, not in the full like Unity scriptable art like render pipeline sense, but like we're working on a new render process to go from this tile map layer process, which is nice, but you'll see it slow down as I start to like put more stuff in here. You'll see it start to slow down a lot. Yeah, like look at that. We need something that's much faster and that can handle a large number of updates, and something that's flexible enough that we can actually avoid the updates when it's possible. So that's what we're gonna work on. There's something about being able to finish. There's something getting stuck about the controls when I place a block. Like, notice how there's nothing happening here. There's something weird going on. One problem at a time. There's something weird about either the raycasting system or the block commits in the sculpting system. I don't know what it is, but we're not going to work it out right now. Rhiannon Journey, if you take long enough, your genre of choice might be back in vogue when you release. That's really our only hope, is that by the time we finally release a game in our genre, everyone else will have moved on. We seem like we're going to get lucky in the so far as Subset Games doesn't seem to be actively working on an FTL game. Although I actually honestly think if Subset Games came out with FTL 2 in the next like 3 or 4 years, I think that would help us more than it would hurt us. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Lo-Fi Flyby. I would love to get Lo-Fi Flyby out in the next like couple of years. That might be a lot, but you know, I want to get something out. Because this game, which is largely untitled, this is going to take a long time. Hey, the Dev House. Love that name. Thank you for the follow. I feel like I'm out in the Dev House. Sapphire. I got you interested yesterday. Now you're hitting purchase on Distant Worlds. Distant Worlds is cool. I think it's a game whose ideas are bigger than its boots, you know? But, like, when is that not the case with a 4X strategy game? But yeah, I like it. I like it. I work at a speed that allows me to learn from others. We'll see. Humans are unique in their ability to learn from others. Humans are also unique in their unwillingness to do so. So, we'll see. I worked a little last night. I didn't really do a lot, but I don't quite remember what I did. I think I continued. We're continuing to recreate the tile drawing system, but for a CanvasItem drawing. So instead of setting up these, instead of basically preparing and packaging the tile map data to send over to be incorporated into the tile map layer, we're essentially packaging all of the CanvasItem draw params. I don't even know where I put that function. We haven't really gotten there yet. But yeah, we have these CanvasItem draw params. I added a version to them. I don't know if I'm actually going to want this. I was looking, like, so if I take version out, because I actually am not convinced that we're going to want version. So if I take this out, we got the rest of this. We have an interesting case. Thanks for the hydrate, Nix. I know it's like the third hydrate that's come in so far this stream, but here's... Luckily, I'm the one who determines the exchange rate. So here's a few sips of my last coffee here. I should say a few of the last sips of my current coffee. How's it going? How's everyone doing? Anyway, so what I was thinking about with this, there's something kind of interesting here with the CanvasItem draw params, which is an interesting, this is not unique to this, but it's like, it's something that happens, which is this describes a unique thing, right? Like this combination of values of like, what's the Z index? What's the Y sorting? What's the texture ID? Where are we drawing this? What are we drawing? What's the modulate look like? There's like a way of thinking this in terms of like set theory, where it's like I need to come up with a way of being able to determine whether there has been a change and whether or not we should continue to draw this, or whether or not we should push this parameter. Because like if we just generate parameters that are the same and we push them over, we're going to be overdrawing. We're not going to be overdrawing quite as bad as if we were, you know, just ignoring occlusion. So I think the big gain is going to be occlusion culling, and then the secondary gain is going to be like some kind of dirty flag or some kind of hashing or something that lets us know whether or not this thing has changed. which is part of the reason why I was tempted to add a version value, but I'm not quite sure how I would use the version value correctly, so I'm going to remove it for now, and we're not going to worry about it. That'll be a... There's room for it. Assuming this thing is good at packing its data well, which it should be. I know I'm not putting it in the order that you would want for packing, but I shouldn't. I feel like I shouldn't have to do that. Maybe I'll do it anyway. Then it will also be more in... I kind of put it down in the order in which that you would... Why isn't it modulation? Why is it modulate? Why is it like... Why do we use modulate like the verb form as a noun? It's a verb. In this form, modulate is a verb. I guess it's an instruction. I'm going to change it to modulation because I like that better. And I'm going to reorder these a little bit. Don't mind me. I don't feel like being productive, but that's what I got to do. I did work out the Y sorting yesterday, like in my mind a little bit before my brain just turned to mush. I'm highly confident that we are not going to have any overlapping issues thanks to Y sorting in the 3D block space. I'm not going to implement that right now, but because we don't need to right now until we start incorporating characters. But I think this is going to be real good, real good. I also implemented an iComparable for the CanvasItem draw params, which is like super basic, which is just like if the Z index is different, just compare the Z index. If the Z indexes are identical, compare the Y sorting. And this is going to be neat because I think what we're going to do is we're going to do in-place sorting of the CanvasItem draw params. And that will give us our draw parameters in order, in the order that we need to draw them, and then we can just push over a... we can just push over some data. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good stuff. Thanks for the stretch, Sapphire. If I seem a little bit scrambled, it's because I have a big deadline today at work. Just gonna be one of those. I will meet the deadline, and it will probably be late at night when I do, and it's not gonna be great. Hey, we're dropping frames over on YouTube. Looks okay right now. We dropped a bunch of frames earlier. Sorry, YouTube. I didn't even notice that. I'm gonna see if it keeps happening. Oh, thanks for being over there, Smith, in a second. I don't know when that happened. It seems like it's fine now, but we dropped like over 1,000 frames at one point. So, sorry, VODs. That'll probably affect our stats. I'm gonna reorder these two into the same order. Don't ask why I do these things. I do these things because I pick weird hills to die on. I think the honest thing is that I don't know how to organize my stuff a lot of times. So I'm always just rearranging things. I kind of like this, I guess. Hope everyone's having a nice Friday. I'm very glad it's Friday. I'm very ready to have some time off. I mean, I'll be back tomorrow. We'll be live, but at least I won't have to do my day job. I hope we dropped frames during the intro. I know, like, it's not important, but we've been doing really well on YouTube, which makes me, like, nervous. I say really well. It's still like small potatoes or whatever. but you can't help but get nervous about this stuff when you're creating content. I know they say stream like nobody's watching. But you know, that's hard to do. Smooth in a second. You got an inspirational game dev clip from Colonel. The Colonel. I know it's just Co, but I like to... I assume that's what Co means. Co Carnage. He was talking about abiotic factor, but kind of made you think about me talking about FTL, Void War, and others, and what could be learned, evolved. Posted it in the Discord. Nice, nice. That's cool. I'll check that out. Co knows games. I don't really watch Co very often, but they do know their games. All right. Rearranged. Canvas item drop params successfully rearranged. So we've been kind of working through this flow here. Raiders got you watching him? Yeah, I liked watching him. I liked watching his Arc Raiders too. He had some fun. He had some fun, like, personal way of playing. Like, I like how he plays. He'll play solos and he'll come in with nothing and scavenge his way to some gear. That was fun to watch. I enjoyed that. All right, we get our block haul types, then we set our tile map layer data. Duck runs, right? He goes in with just a duck, and he like only allows himself to use what he finds in the raid, even when he comes back. Those are fun. That's very fun. Oh, we're dropping frames again. We dropped another like 1,000 frames. I guess my internet is struggling today. Well, rip this VOD, I guess. Twitch is smooth? Yeah, Twitch is smooth. It's happening on YouTube. Yeah, it's happening right now. I'm dropping almost all my frames. That's really bad. And it's a network issue. Well, you seem to be back. Oof, that's awful. Well, sorry, YouTube. Hey, Arneo, how's it going? Yep, here we go again. Man, what's this network issue? Restart the YouTube stream? Cannot be done. Cannot be done, Sapphire. It is the origin of all of this. So if I turn off the YouTube stream, all of this goes away. We're already 30 minutes in. It's too late. It helps teach me to, like, not worry. Because I worry about every single stream. And whether they're entertaining or compelling or whatever. But it really doesn't matter. We do 4 or 5 of these a week. And if one of them goes to shit for technical reasons, or the content's not interesting, or I'm in a bad mood or whatever, it's fine. I have to tell myself it's fine. It's just one stream. There will be another stream the next day. Thanks for the hydrate, Nix. It's so cold. Oh yeah, this winter storm that's kind of been hitting out there seems pretty serious. To be fair, we've only dropped 4% of our frames, so maybe this is just blown out of proportion in my mind here. This is something that's like a real danger for people that are streaming, or maybe someone that's engaging with any kind of social media, is you get like obsessed with the dashboards. I think this happens to everyone. This will happen to like a Steam dev. This will happen to anyone who's doing anything in any kind of online or social context. It's like you get focused in on all your dashboards and all the data, and it's like sometimes you get a little too, you get distracted by it sometimes. You wish it was summer, Arneo? You know what my perfect weather is? And it kind of is probably why I should probably be living somewhere else than here. My favorite weather is when it's kind of cold. Not freezing, but like kind of cold. Kind of gray. Kind of rainy. I like it to be damp and cold. And you know what? San Francisco used to be like that more days than not. But LAification is a real thing. Very sad. Like, it used to rain for like half of March. And watch, this March, it'll probably barely rain at all. Weird. Guess it's only negative 17 Celsius. I would call that cold. I'd probably love it where you used to live in Oregon then. Yeah, I think I will be eventually a Pacific Northwest man someday. Gotta make my money first. Seattle is an expensive city. It's not cheaper than San Francisco. Oregon does not like Californians. I'm not gonna generalize. I'm not saying it's wrong. They're kind of right. They have a good reason not to like Californians. Whereas I think in Seattle, it's a little more, there's a little bit more of a kindred spirit between Seattle and like Silicon Valley, San Francisco, just because it's like the techie kind of crowd is more normalized. But in Oregon, they want to keep it weird. All right, I should get something done. I'm having a hard time focusing. So what we're going to do, we go through here, we get our block types. What we need to do after we get our black types is we need to do this add canvas item draws function here. This is the equivalent of our set tile map layer data. We add canvas item draws. And what we're going to do is we're just going to add them to these lists. We have these lists. We have an array of lists. The individual elements of the array are all of the individual Z indexes. Everyone uses Kelvin, Arneo. It's the civilized temperature. Smooth. You get that all the time up where you are. Clouds in the valley, rain in the mountains, and you end up in the fog during seasons. Yeah, I like that. I like that. I was in like the northern Central Valley area a while ago over Thanksgiving. I was in like Redding. And I like the kind of fog that settles into the Central Valley in the winter. There's a word for it, like tool fog. I like that stuff. It's nice. I didn't realize how much there's a lot of area west and north of Sacramento that's like rice fields. It's like damp. It's like a marshland. It's so different than like the central and southern part of the valley. Very cool. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed going through it. Wetlands. Yeah, I don't want to call it wetlands because I thought wetlands are the thing that moderate they moderate the exchange of stuff between like the ocean and like fresh water. Like so like brackish wetlands are like stuff all around the bay. I don't know if who knows. I'm not somebody who is an expert on this stuff, but I like it. I'd probably lose my boots in the wetlands, but it's the beginning of the delta. Oh, it's like the freshwater side of it. Oh, okay. It's cool. Very cool. Sapphire, you miss it there in Oregon? You could see yourself moving back that way in the future? Yeah. All right, we're gonna focus up. I'm allowing myself to get distracted. Our dropped frames issue is not improving. So I'm just gonna ignore it and move on. All right, so we're gonna add our canvas item draws. What am I working on today? We're working on trying to get our new rendering up with this alternative approach. Instead of using instead of using a node that's built to draw tile maps, we're kind of using the underlying tech and we're kind of telling it what we want to draw, like very directly. So we're getting a little more custom. We're getting a little more manual. Kind of digging in a little bit. which is kind of the story of this stream here. So I've been thinking about the conversion, how we get through this process. So we get our block face. Here's the part where we get our atlas coords. And the tile drawing side, it's a lot more straightforward. But for us, it's not just atlas coords, or we need to eventually get to the atlas coords, but what we start with is like what I would call the like auto tile coords. So like, and we have different procedures for each of the different faces for like X, Y, Z. So if we just go down here to like get X face tile coords, this is all the code that handles it on the tile map side. I put the functions in and then I just ripped out the guts, but I left them here commented so I could see what they are. So this get atlas coords function is important. So this is where we get like, this is where the behavior is differentiated for the different faces, because X faces and Y faces and Z faces behave differently. I kind of want to maybe get rid of this understanding eventually, because I realize I maybe want a more generic solution that can handle like our crew characters, like our other sprite sheets. Because right now we're very locked into the you're dealing with the X, the Y, or the Z face. Hey, how's it going? Mugiwara, welcome in. How are you doing? We were working on an... We're dropping tons of frames, so apologies. Oh, our stream restarted. Yeah, I can see your message. It seems like OBS restarted my stream manually. I hope it counts as a reconnect. Yeah, sorry, we're having some issues on YouTube today. It looks like OBS just attempted a restart, so... If I'm still here, and people can still see this, let me know. I thought you said it couldn't be restarted. I couldn't restart it. OBS looks like it just gave up and restarted. Nice, you thought I didn't interact? No, I'm just slow. The latency is here. You always wanted to learn GDScript? You just start, you just do it. We use GDScript. We use GDScript more when we're doing game jams than this project. This project is mostly written in C# for an obscure constellation of reasons. You're still here, Fusionist? Good. I'm glad. That's the most important. Dave latency. Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, since we restarted, I haven't dropped any frames, so maybe this wasn't my fault. But yeah, how's it going, Mugiwara? Yeah, we're working on a isometric game. We're working on some underlying rendering tech for it, because we're doing this kind of weird thing where we have kind of a 3D game space, and we're rendering it using 2D graphics. So there's some interesting stuff going on here. Nix, you have seemingly you're hydrating. You are overhydrating me right now. You've hit me with you've been consistently hydrating every 10 minutes. I might have to change the cooldown. Yeah. All right, you're heading out, Sapphire. Take it easy. Happy Friday. Not right now anyway. You have physics exams after like 5 hours. Good luck. Good luck, Mugiwara. Good luck on your physics exams. I am awful at physics. If you told me trains set out from Detroit and Chicago heading towards each other at blah, 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 my spirit would leave my body. All right, so what are we gonna do? So we need to get these, I have these individual face specific functions. I actually don't think I need that approach anymore. I think the only thing that I think changes per face is how we do the some of the calculations. Yeah, I'm actually gonna not. I think I'm gonna do this. Well, no. I can't do it differently because we pass in a different format. Right. Okay, let's start plugging these in here. So we don't need this source ID thing anymore. Source ID doesn't matter. What we do need is we need a texture ID. So right now we can just hard code a texture ID. We can just say int. We can just say like this. We can say texture ID. Texture ID. Why is this golden? Oh, because I don't have an equals. Texture ID equals int hull key. Actually, it's going to be mask. If the mask null. If the mask is null, it's going to be just the hull key. If it isn't null, it's going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right now, it's just going to be 4. So, one line this. We're going to hack this together just because I want a solution. I want a solution now. We'll do it properly later. You have no idea what I'm doing? That's you and me both. You and me both, Mugiwara. If I knew what I was doing, do you think I would be here? I'm just kidding. I like to think I would. I would just maybe be doing this a little more successfully. So what we want to end up is with atlas coordinates. Atlas coordinates are like the coordinates into the actual texture atlas. And in fact, I might change this function to be different. So we could either try to just pull the chords out here, or we could try to do something a little more complicated, because we actually need to know the source rect, which we get the source rect by taking the atlas coords and along with the size. So it sounds like what we actually want to do, instead of... We could do this a couple different ways. We have 3 different formats of format buffers because we have different data for each of the different atlases. So we have the counts, the origin, and the region. We care about all of these. We especially care about the origin and the region. So we do need to split this based on block face. We're rendering per face. So if you have a cube has 6 sides. 3 of them are visible at any time in our kind of orthographic perspective. So we need to render all 3 faces. You'll be going, you subbed. You'll probably join when I stream again. Yeah, no, good luck. Good luck with your exam. Good luck with your studies. Yeah, we stream Tuesday through Saturday. So if you ever want to hang out, co-work, whatever, learn a little more about Godot or GDScript or whatever, yeah, please come by. Thanks for hanging out today. I hope you have a good weekend. Yeah, no dropped frames since OBS restarted. It's probably still going to ruin the VODs for everyone, but, you know, I'm not caring. It does raise an awkward thing where it's like, what if I'm trying to stream and I'm trying to record something for edited content? I probably need to record that locally. I'm hesitant to record these streams locally because guess how big a 3-hour stream is in 4K? It's 50 gigabytes. I would need a terabyte every month. I would need to free up a terabyte if I happen to record these locally. Is that right? Is that a terabyte a month? Yeah, it is, isn't it? 20 streams. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I guess I'd have to do things differently if I wanted to. I kind of want to do the Armus thing, which is like I just talk about something on stream and then I cut that out and I use that in edited content rather than having to like separately record stuff offline. All right, so we're gonna get the auto-tiled chords. That's what I call this. Get our auto-tiled chords. This doesn't care about what faces is. It does a little, but it's able to figure it out. So we've got that. Get auto-tiled chords. So I think I want to call the same function, but just pass in different parameters for this. I think that's kind of how I want to do this. Can I do that? No, I can't do that unless I designate like an interface or the texture atlas. I guess different functions isn't the worst. I'm gonna call this like get X CanvasItem draw params. You could probably just call it CanvasItem params. I wanted this up above all of these. I wanted this here. We're gonna move these. Move all of these above the auto-tiler rule sets. The auto-tiler rule sets thankfully don't need to change. I would be so mad if we needed to redo the auto-tiler stuff. But I don't think we do. What I need to do is redo the tabbing here. There we go. There we go. Arneo, that makes sense. You could kind of do those. You could do those kind of planned sections, quote unquote, where you have some explanation prepared as you go through it on stream and then edit it into a 15-30 minute video. Yeah, I think I would put those together. I think eventually we'll start putting stuff like that together. People have told me, reputable individuals have told me they would like to see more edited content. And by more edited content, I mean any edited content from me. But yeah, I think we need to get a little further along. Like, I think when the map editor is done, we'll do like a whole video, like a whole 20-minute video on like, here's the map editor, here's how it works. Here's how kind of weird it is. That might be my first, like, edited content. Hey, you're back. You don't feel like studying? I get it. I am, like, the least academically inclined person you're going to talk to. I did not do a lot of schooling. And I got very lucky. So... And so far as I managed to find someone who still wanted to employ me. So I would encourage you to take your exams very seriously, but I'm also not your mom. So welcome back. It's good to see you. All right, get X canvas item params, get Y canvas item params, get Z canvas item params, get texture atlas coords, get auto tiled coords, get canvas item params. I don't think we need this one because I would like to eventually make it a general single purpose function, but I think we have to have variation at the moment. Block haul types. Eventually the block haul types thing is not going to belong here anymore, but right now it does. I'm gonna move this up. Rearranging things makes me feel like I'm doing something. Makes me feel like I know what I'm doing. Nyx is out of control. Nyx is like full on like the Sorcerer's Apprentice right now with these hydrates. Arneo, we can quiz you on the test. Give me a topic that's in the test. That's awesome, Arneo. Oscillations. Oof. I'm out. Already I'm out. All right, so we're not going to we can't just plug this in and say get atlas coords. What we need to do is we need to say, what we can do is we can say canvas item draw params equals. So we'll get those back from this. We'll say get X canvas item params, get Y canvas item params, get Z canvas item params. Those are going to return. This is more of a set block haul types, huh? Than a get. So it's actually setting these things. I'm gonna call this set. Because that's really what it's doing. Well, maybe it is get. I don't know. Who cares? Put that way down here. Arneo, explain when the potential and kinetic energies are highest, lowest in a pendulum oscillation. Oh my lord. Oh, Mugiwara has the answer though. I like when I go to museum and it's got like one of those big pendulums set up. You can just watch it knocking like dominoes over like very slowly. I do enjoy that. I also like those videos of physics professors who like hurl like a bowling ball at themselves with a pendulum, and they do it so confidently because they know that it will lose energy as it comes back. And they can't possibly hit themselves with it. It's funny. I like that stuff. I don't like physics, but physics lecture videos are fascinating. Hey, Push Toy. I also like reading anything written by Professor Feynman is also good. How's it going, Push Toy? Thank Godot it's Friday. All right, so we set the texture ID easily enough. Instead of getting the atlas coords, okay, so here we get the canvas item draw params, get X canvas item params. draw params, I guess. We'll use its full name. That way we can use differentiated formats based on the block face there. I would love to be drawing something like tomorrow. That's our goal here. You're going okay? How are we? Yeah, we're doing all right. We're crunching. We're crunching. I have a big deadline at work today that's kind of stressing me out, but we'll get through it. Probably means I'll be working until like 7 or 8 tonight, though. And it's currently 1. But you know, the stream must flow. Mugiwara. Can I listen to a music called The Rain, formerly known as Purple? It's from a game called Risk of Rain. I like Risk of Rain. I've heard the Risk of Rain soundtrack. I love the Risk of Rain soundtrack. I'm not a big Risk of Rain 2 fan, but the original Risk of Rain is my jam. Rain, formerly known as Purple. That's a good Prince joke. That is a Prince joke. Arneo, you guys seen the video on Tacoma Bridge? It's history's coolest oscillation. Yeah, it is good. The Tacoma Bridge video is scary. It is very cool. It's good. It's worth watching. It's a bridge that oscillates itself to like death. They actually did some updates to the Golden Gate Bridge to make it resistant, more resistant to that. One of the side effects, which I think they've started working on fixing, is that the Golden Gate Bridge, which I live, not to dox myself, but I can hear the bridge singing when the wind gets high enough. It acts as like an enormous harmonica. Because they installed these little slats on it to like make it more resilient. Opens Google Maps. Everyone in San Francisco lives close to the Golden Gate Bridge. But yeah, you can hear it for miles when it's a really windy day. It creates this like crystalline hum. It's like living near a crystalline forest or something. It's crazy. It's pretty cool. All right, get Y canvas item draw params, get X canvas item draw params, get Z canvas item draw params. So we get our draw params. We need to get our atlas chords from get texture atlas chords. And that function is going to take something. Why is this not implemented? I'm gonna change these function names again. I'm gonna put these at the end. Sounds pretty cool. Certain houses can make nice sounds in the wind also. Yeah. But that bridge is enormous. It's not as impressive nowadays, but you know, it's like a 100-year-old bridge. So it was cool, you know, it was cool when they put it up, when they knocked it up originally. What have you been up to, Push Toy? Are you trying to do damage control after doxing yourself? It can't be Miles. It's pretty close. The whole city is 7 miles across. San Francisco is a small city. It's a 7 by 7 mile city. Hey, Magoo. How's it going? But yeah, maybe I'm trying to do slight damage control. All right. We're planning for the future when we don't actually have to distinguish these. But for now we do, so we're going to. Is it crazy that I'm trying to like order these in a certain way? Get auto-tiled chords. Get texture atlas chords. This isn't totally working out the way I had hoped it would. You were here yesterday, you didn't chat. It was late. Yeah, I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. A little swamped with work, but I'm trying to put that out of my mind for, you know, the few hours that we're streaming. We're having a good time, though. I'm a little scatterbrained, but it's Friday, so I got that going for me. Making an indie game? How long did you spend making that? A long time. Yeah, we're coming up on 2 years on this project so far. We make other things too. We do game jams and stuff, so you know we aren't spending all our time on this one project. We're actually kind of working on a tech stack that I intend to use to make a couple of different games. Some bigger than others. But they're generally going to be in the same vibe and the same, you know, universe and stuff with the same kind of tech and rendering style. But for some reason, all I ever want to do is make isometric games. 2 years. Must be really good. That's usually the opposite of how it works. But usually, like, when you have a huge success story of a game, like Peak is a good example recently, or even the original FTL. The original FTL was made in like a year and a half. I'm doing this part-time. So I have a day job. So I've gotten to put in, you know, a fraction of the amount of time that I would have if this was my... Hey, Magoo with the 15 stream streak. Appreciate that. Let's go. You'll buy it? I appreciate that. Probably. I still appreciate that. OS devs could never. Yeah. I don't know why we keep collecting OS devs in this channel. I don't know what to call this. I'm calling it auto-tiled chords, but that's not... I need a distinction from the texture atlas chords to, like, the internal coordinates used by the auto-tiler. I guess auto-tiled chords is fine. Hey, thank you for the bits. 23 bits. Thank you, Mr. Magoo. Appreciate that. What's my day job? I am, like, a back-end, like, HR admin type. Oh, we got a spam bot over on YouTube. Get ready. I don't know who's going to do this for me, because Sapphire and Nyx are both MIA at the moment. But here we go. 3, 2, 1. Blasted. Auto-tiler 7. Nice. Good job, Magoo. Appreciate that. Hey, Rimas. Christmas already? That was one hard nap. No, we just let it ride. We just let it ride. How's it doing? How's it doing? How are you, Rimas? I'm just going to continue to call it Get Auto Tile Chords. I'll come up with a better name. I don't like that name, but I'm going to not think about it right now. What we do need to do is we need to convert those auto tiling chords into texture atlas chords. And we're going to do that somehow. It's kind of like what we were doing here. So this atlas buffer, atlas index thing, we can kind of just do that here, huh? Oh my glob. I'm going to get some sound effects hooked up to the bits because Mr. Magoo just dropped 500 bits. That's huge. You got me. I think you might have done something else too. YouTube is yelling at me. All right. Appreciate that, Magoo. You didn't have to do that. Ads are about to start. That's what Twitch is trying to tell me. I can't use the name you suggested. I don't. You can't use like. Well, I guess you can. I don't like using numbers in function call names. But I appreciate the suggestion. All right, so what do we want to do? So we need the Atlas chords. What we got to get at first, though, is we have to get the auto-tiled chords first. You use all of this, huh? What's the mask used for? Oh, it's for that part. Right. Okay. So this is actually going to be auto-tiled chords. So we'll get the auto-tiled chords first. I don't know why I can't take these parameters. Oh, it's get auto-tiled chords. So we're gonna leave it like that for now. So we'll get our auto-tiled chords. We'll probably feed that into the get texture. You know, we actually don't need a function for get texture Atlas chords, huh? Happy life. Thank you, Magoo. Really appreciate that. Push Toy, you're figuring out some 3D effects, mesh animations. You're excited about it? That's awesome. Are you streaming in Twitch too? Yes. Apologies, Mugiwara. We multi-stream between Twitch and YouTube, which is I'm not talking to myself usually. Fancy man with his fancy high-level language. I do like to consider myself a bit of a fancy man. All right, so what we're gonna do, we'll grab the Atlas. We'll get the Atlas index buffer. I'm gonna call this the Atlas index buffer here. So what do we need to calculate this? We need the format. We need the buffer from the format. And we just do that, huh? It's just like this. You know what? Why are we doing it like this? Why don't we just declare the chords once? Actually, I guess I don't like doing that. It makes it hard to debug. But I also want to minimize the amount of stuff we're declaring. Who cares? I don't like how a run on this function is, but I think we're going to do things differently. And then so our Atlas chords, our texture Atlas chords. So vector 4i, actually I could say vector 2i, variable Atlas chords equals this. We don't have a width anymore. So what we would do instead is we would say counts dot x counts dot x. Yeah, what are you focusing on right now? We are working on changing our rendering setup from being tile map layer based to like more like custom draw calls against canvas items. Yeah, no. There are some real people here that I am talking to. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna need to return a new canvas item draw params. So here's the part where we gotta, we can say canvas rect, the new vector 4i. So we need the canvas rect. We need the modulation. Right now it's just going to be vector 4i.1. Not really using modulation right now. Source rect equals new vector 4i. Texture ID equals texture ID. That's easy. Y sorting right now can just be zero. We'll need to calculate that. That's not going to be trivial, but we don't need to do it right now. Because right now there's everything is going to be on a different Z index. There's not going to be any need for Y sorting. Z index. How do we know the Z index? Oh, we need to calculate the Z index from the we need to calculate the Z index from the Manhattan distance. So we actually need the world position of this block. We can get that from the hull key.xyz. Maybe you should try making a Hollow Knight sequel in 7 days as a challenge. I'm all right. There already is a Hollow Knight sequel. I'm also not a... I'm neither a 2D platformer player, nor am I a Metroidvania player, nor am I a Souls-like enjoyer. So Hollow Knight is rough for me. Physics learning continues. I appreciate you attempting to enforce some study time, Arneo. It's funny. Hollow Knight Pablo. I'd give it a try. You put out Hollow Knight Pablo, I'll give it a try. You know. All right, so we're generating our CanvasItem draw params. Why does this say tile? Oh. That would do it, wouldn't it? I'm gonna delete these and just use the X, reuse the X. That's wrong. But we'll let it be wrong. We'll let it be wrong for now. All right. So the Z index we are getting, like I said, diagram time. I didn't say that, but like I said, the way we get our Z index is by the Manhattan distance of the block in block space. So the number here is the Manhattan distance. You know what I should do is I should highlight the blocks that I'm like talking about. Like, let me get the low sat version of this. Let me get the low sat palette here. Low sat. Yeah, maybe the high sat's fine. Give me like, where is this in the grayscale? It's there. Give me like this one. So I realize this gets kind of confusing as I go through this. Oh, that kind of doesn't work. I would need to do this differently if I actually wanted to diagram this out. I actually don't know if I care. It gets a little confusing when we get to the end here. I don't know if I want to spend time diagramming. Seems like solving the distance wouldn't be so hard. Oh, no, it's easy. It's easy. I'm not trying to solve it. I was trying to demonstrate a diagram. Yeah, you take the X, add the Y. You add the X component, the Y component, and the Z component in this context. The actual Manhattan distance is a little more complicated than that, but for our use case, since we're starting at the origin, we can just add X, then add Y, then add Z, and we got it. So let me undo all of this. If I feel like it later, I'll update this diagram. But yeah, it's kind of like a it's kind of like a plane that's like at a diagonal. You can think about it, and you can think about shifting the plane forward. It's kind of the plane of the camera frustrum, like something like that. That's kind of what it is. I just like my diagrams. I spent time on that one. So what we can just do is we can just say hull key dot x plus hull key dot y plus hull key dot z. That's the z index. Easy. All right, but now what we need to do is we need to set up the canvas rect and the source rect, and that is a little harder. So let's work on that. Let's work on that. So the canvas rect here, what I am going to do is I'm going to bring up the CanvasItem doc. Hollow Knight Pablo is a real thing. Oh? Yeah, I'm not super... I've attempted to play Hollow Knight. Twice. I didn't make it very far. I'm tempted to try, like, Animal Well, though. I think I might be more into, like, Animal Well. I just can't with the Souls-like. Like, if I lose my souls and then I die again on the way to go get my souls, I'm out. That's a rage quit. That's an instant rage quit from me. And that sort of thing happens all the time when you're bad at those games. I didn't get through Elden Ring either. I thought it was brilliant, but it's not for me. All right, so here's the function that we're ultimately going to be calling here. Draw texture rect region. We're submitting a texture, which at the moment we're just setting an ID so that we can do that later. We're setting a rect, which this rect is the 2D region of the canvas item that we are drawing in. And I'm a little confused about that. So that is going to require a little experimentation. Source rect, that's easy. That's just the texture. That's the region within the texture that we want to draw. So let's start with that because I think I understand how to do that. Animal well is just a well of animals. But see, that sounds delightful. That sounds delightful. A hollow night. I'm like, what's in the night? Nothing? What's in there? At least a well of animals, you know, I know what I'm getting. You can't think about it too hard. You can if you're looking for an excuse not to play. All right, so the source rect is relatively easy to figure out. We have to refer to the format. So what we're going to do is we're going to ask the format comp. We're going to ask it about its origin. So it'll be the origin.x format. Why won't you let me put this in here? Int is not assignable to parameter vector3i. Okay. Oh, I see. It's just complaining because I haven't finished it yet. Comp.origin.y. And then what we need is format comp.region.x and format comp.region.y. That should give us the source rect, because the origin is like the top left pixel of the region. Well, no, we need to refer to the atlas coords to an extent. So it's not just that. It needs to be, yeah, we're not even using the atlas coords here. It's actually format comp.origin.x plus atlas coords dot x. I'm going to lay this out vertically because otherwise we're not going to be able to see anything. Animal Well has a horror tag in it, but it looks so cool. I love the pixel art. I saw a talk by Billy Basso that was really good at GDC. I still haven't played his game. For the region, I don't think we need to add anything to the region. Region is not the right word, but if you'll notice, I kind of do weird things to be able to get my variable names to be the same length. It's an aesthetic flaw I have. All right, so I think this is the source rect. I'm ready to be proven wrong on that. What I'm not sure about is the canvas rect. Let's go back here. Let's go back and look at our actual JSON file here and make sure that I'm not totally off base on this. So the origin, so for like the X face, the origin is 0, 0. The region is 16, 12. So it means it starts at 0. And its size is 16. So it's not plus, it's just set the value, right? You know, okay, we're not plussing it, we're just, although, yeah, that should be, so it's actually not form region, it's, no, it is, because I need to remember how a rect 2D is organized. It's position, then size. Position, then size. Okay. So similarly, for position, this is the part where I'm like, not sure. Oh, what is the origin? I think I need more information here. Because origin is like the part of the texture. I also need an offset. I need to store an offset because we need to know, it's not enough to know where the texture starts. We also need to know where, so given like the origin being the center of the block, what is the offset of each face? So that is something I have to record. So that's something we're going to add to this. Continue using names that are somewhat descriptive, but also kind of confusing. We're going to do it like this. We're going to say offset. And we are going to say that the offset is, so if we look in, if we do a little looky-loo here, if we look at anything like this, so if the origin is like, if the origin of the tile is like here, which I think this is where the experimentation is going to come into play. I think the origin will be here. So if that's true, then like the X face is -16. -16 -4. We'll try that. And then the Y face. I think it's just -4. Actually, it might be less than that. It might be just -3. What is this? Okay, no. So it goes down. I keep forgetting there's this extra empty pixel space here. So what is this relative to this? Actually, I think it's -3. I guess we'll just see. We'll just try. We're going to try some stuff. So the Y offset. What's your favorite game? Yours is what's my favorite game? Yours is Terraria. Terraria is good. I remember playing that. My favorite game. -3 sounds wrong, but we're gonna try it. My favorite game. Hey, Terras Mazipa. You need to remember how. Yeah, okay. I realize that. I realize that's what it sounds like when you say it enough. But we're going to ignore that unfortunate fact. How are you doing? Happy Friday. Thank Godot, it's Friday. All right, what's my favorite game? That's like a tough question. I'd answer that different ways. Like, what's my favorite game to play right now? I don't know. I'm not playing anything right now, really. I'm enjoying a lot of these, like, friend slap games that you can play with your friends. But that's more has to do with the fact that I'm playing with my friends, so I wouldn't credit most of that to the game. What's my favorite game? You know, the way I want to answer this is, like, the game that I wish I could play again for the first time. So I feel like that's a good metric. Like, what's the game that you wish you could come to and play again, not knowing anything about it, and just play it again for the first time? And I think the game that's that way for me, which makes me think maybe it's my favorite game, is Subnautica. Subnautica is amazing. I love that game so much. All right, so what's the difference between here? Oh, you know what? I think I'm measuring from the wrong spot. I'm definitely measuring from the wrong spot. We're going to have an offset problem, but I'm going to be consistent and continue measuring from this spot for now. So it's -16. -16, -6, I guess, maybe. But yeah, I'm definitely measuring. We're going to have an off by 1 problem. And by 1, I mean 1 tile, not like anything else. Doing good, wishing for the weekend to come. It's almost here. It's almost here. But yeah, Subnautica is so good. But so much of it is like based around you not having played it before. Like, I've gone back and I've tried to play it again, and it's still a beautiful game with a great atmosphere, but like the sense of exploration and like the fear, that's all gone now. because I know what happens and I know how to survive and I know the tricks, you know. So it's not the same. You can't go back. Now, as far as what my favorite game is that I can replay, that's like infinitely replayable, I don't know. I'd have to think about that. All right, so now we need a position and a size. So the position here is going to be format comp dot offset. Oh, we have to teach the format about the fields we just created. Stuff is getting deleted from my Google Drive for some reason. Mildly concerning. Hey, McDuber's in the house. It's been a minute. I mean, I see you on Discord all the time, but it's nice to have you in the chat here. A feeling you get from Subnautica is the same feeling you get playing Outer Wilds. If you want a game. Oh yeah. I'm actually making I'm somewhere in the middle of like my second attempt to play Outer Wilds. I got like midway through, you know, back when it came out and kind of fell off before I figured it out. And a few weeks before the holidays, I think I made another dip into it. It's good. It's good. It definitely doesn't have the same sense of dread that Subnautica has. Like it's not that there are definitely moments where I've like the Briar Patch or whatever it's called. It's a pretty crazy place. But it's not quite the same because you have the Groundhog's Day effect where like it doesn't feel like anything you do is like there are no consequences to anything because no matter how bad a mistake you make, the timer runs out and, you know, Groundhog's Day. But yeah, Outer Wilds is cool. The DLC taps a bit more of the fear factor. Nice. I'll try that. Yeah, I'll try to finish it. I'm not a puzzle gamer. I don't want to have to like think hard about a game I'm playing. I like to vibe. You'd think a game dev would, like all game devs would be puzzle gamers. And I certainly know a lot of game devs who are puzzle gamers, but I'm not one of them. All right, so we're gonna do format comp. Oh, we still need to, I taught this about the format. Now I need to teach these things about the format. I want to figure out a better way to store this stuff. These are buffer components. They live here. I have this problem where most of my components are buffer components, and it feels like I'm doing it wrong, but I think there's going to be some really interesting opportunities to start using regular unordered components instead of all this spatially stored buffer component data we've been using. I'm like pretty hopeful. Pretty hopeful. Scotty, you're realizing there's a pretty significant difference in the fear of space and its size than the ocean. Both are similar, but some people are more afraid of one or the other. That's true. That's true. That's definitely something that Subnautica got really right. And more games would do well to, like, understand that. Like having the kind of verticality of the ocean is good. And having the kind of oppressive, like, there's literal pressure to the ocean, right? So, like, going further down into the ocean, there's this incredible gradient from the surface of the water down into the depths that is just, like, So visceral. God, I used -5 points for me because I used the word visceral. But yeah, there is something about that. How are you doing, Duber? I really appreciate all your hype in the Discord. I appreciate everyone who engages in the Discord. It's really feeling like a community. And not just me, like, occasionally posting into the void. Y'all are the community I never knew that I wanted. So I'm actually a pretty low maintenance person in terms of social requirements. All I really need is a dog, which I don't currently have, to be clear. That's probably what's keeping this channel from really blowing up, is like an auxiliary dog cam. A redeemable dog cam. Okay, so the canvas rect would be the offset. It'd be hull key.x. Oh shoot, I have to convert the world XYZ into like canvas positions. How does that work? Okay. You're well? Nice. You're hyped? Makes you motivated for your own stuff? Oh, I appreciate that, Scotty. Yeah, I would like to inspire people. All right, so we need to do a conversion from block space to canvas space. Arneo, is it weird you only now realize it comes from the word viscera and what that means? That's not that weird. There's a lot of words where you're like, that have drifted so far from their literal meaning that it's hard to maintain that connection. Duber, you've been dealing with some burdens regarding the parent dependence. You have a lot on your shoulders from work to parenting. It's difficult to not just feel like a workhorse. I get that. I get that. All right, Duber. No, I feel you. I feel you. All the game devs I know who are also parents are, I mean, any parent is already doing a huge amount, especially a working parent. Not to denigrate, you know, stay-at-home parents, but if you're trying to be a working parent and do like a hobby, like game dev, like a serious hobby, or you're trying to make it more than a hobby, it's scary. Because like I could be like, you know, I have no dependence. There's nobody depending on me for food and shelter and stuff. So that's a huge privilege for me. I mean, I have a day job, but it's like, and I'm exhausted, but I can only imagine the exhaustion of a parent. So keep it up. You got this. You only need to do it for another couple decades, probably. Thanks for the hydrate, Smooth. Thanks for breaking the tyranny of Nyx. Oh my god, Arneo. All right, so how do we do this part? How do we convert? How do we convert block space to canvas space? So that's not that hard. So if you're plus Z, so if your Z is up, then you just need to go up by like this, by like 12, I think. What gets us from one tile to the next tile? 8. Nine. 9 doesn't feel right. Oh no, you occupy that, so you need to move. So a Z, so whatever your Z coordinate is, that makes your Y coordinate that times -8. Okay, so that's your Y coordinate. So So let's do this in another order. So let's say hull key dot z times -8 plus format comp dot offset dot y. So that's your starting position for the y. Your x position. I know there's a simple formula for isometric to like world space. I almost never bother with that, so give me a second here. All right, so for a plus x, you gotta move down 4, which is positive 4. So each x coordinate also is 4. Also, each y coordinate is 4. So your y coordinate, I should probably have a helper function for this. So it's hull key dot x times 4 plus hull key. Well, yeah, hull key dot y times 4 plus hull key dot z times -8 plus format comp dot offset dot y. And then for your x position, I think it's plus 16 for each x coordinate and minus 16 for each y coordinate. So I think it's hull key dot x times 16 minus hull key dot y times 16 plus format comp dot offset dot x. And then at least the size stuff is easy. Oops. Doing it raw is crazy. Well, we're just trying to get something happening. I'm pretty sure these coordinates are wrong. I'm pretty sure I'm operating at like the center of the block, which is incorrect. I should be operating off the center of the tile. I don't know. I have to think about that. Doing it raw. That's kind of what we're doing here. All right, and then so the size of x is just format comp dot region dot x, and then size of y is just format comp dot region dot y. I should check my Discord. Okay, Duber. Whatever you say. All right, well, this is simpler than I thought it would be. Where's the error? There's an error here somewhere. Cannot resolve primary constructor. What? Huh? Vector 4, vector 4, vector 4. Int. Where's the problem, buddy? There's some kind of weird issue happening here. Oh, I don't have the... I don't have that. Shouldn't it be this? What do you want? What do you want from me? I shouldn't have had the parameter. I didn't need the parameter. There we go. All right. What's going on over in Discord? Nanigans is posting some good stuff, as always. Is multi-track drifting the YouTube and Twitch chats considered a bannable offense? I mean, not for someone watching. That's pretty clever. You've got your own... You've managed to combine chats yourself in your own window. That's pretty clever, actually. It's a violation of TOS if I do it. YouTube chat doesn't know what it means to be cringe. Show them how it's done, Hoji Rick. Show them how it's done. How's it going? Happy Friday. All right. Okay, so that's good. We need variations of this. The Google Pixel allows apps to split screen. Oh, I have a Google Pixel. I should try that. Mine's kind of old. I think it's an 8. I don't know what number they're up to now. How's everyone doing? I'm ready for the weekend. I know I've got like after this stream I've got like 4 or 5 hours of work left to do. And I already did 4 hours of work before the stream. So I'm having a day. I'm gonna have a, if I count game dev here, that's probably like probably be a 12-hour work day for me today. The trick is lots of caffeine, lots of water, and lots of snacks. And, you know, stretch your legs sometimes. Are we going to get stuff drawing today? Are we like that close to getting stuff drawing? All right, so what I need to do is I need to copy this function a few times, and I need to add in the differentials for the different types of texture atlas index buffers. But yeah, I really want to look into doing some kind of render approach that doesn't care about the face direction. It will work for any tile, regardless of whether we consider it the Z tile or the X tile or the Y tile. I want like a face agnostic draw approach, because then we can add in crew members. We can add in stuff that doesn't have a strict face. But I don't know, maybe that's like a bridge too far, but I would love to figure something out like that. Do I work from home? Most of the time, yeah. I have to go into our office occasionally, either every week or every other week. I do one day from the office. There is word of a return to office later this year, but I don't have any information on it, so I can't say how it's going to affect me. But I'm a little concerned. But don't be concerned. We're still nothing's gonna stop us now. Arneo, you're so tired. You haven't even made your evening snack yet. Winter's messing with your energies. It's messing with my sleep schedule. I have a hard time waking up on time in the winter, and it is a problem. Is this literally the only difference? Is this texture atlas index buffer? I should make this at least an interface, because then I could just use them interchangeably with a single function. I may or may not do that now. I want to avoid boxing, but that's like pretty easy to do. As long as I make sure I just do it all correctly. Yeah, this one can be a little different because this one actually only wants the first 2 coordinates. Why do businesses do that still? I don't know. There's always an official line, and then you got to read between the lines. They can do it now because at least in the US, the job market is rough. Everyone's quote-unquote job hugging, which is like hiring is low, firing is relatively low. I say relatively low because layoffs are crazy right now. I think Amazon just announced another like 15,000 layoffs after their last like 16,000 layoffs. It's tough. There's no justifying it, any of that stuff. But yeah, I was looking at the GDC, the game developer survey, and something like a third of respondents to the game developer survey were laid off in the last year, and less than half of them found a job following their layoff in the industry. Can't imagine if LLMs are contributing to that. They are. So the people who remain are having to do even more work because they have to pick up the slack for, you know, the magical AIs that don't do what people think they do. But we're not going to get into one of those. There's a time and a place for a good old-fashioned AI rant. But I don't know if I have one in me right now. I've heard very different responses to how people feel about it, depending on whether they are managers themselves at work or if they're like independent contributors like me. Managers are like, I don't see the difference. They're just like idiots that you tell to do tasks and then you have to correct them. Just like my juniors. And I'm like, okay, I get that actually. But for me as an individual contributor, I hate it. I hate all of it. My employers might watch your streams. Careful what I say about them. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. None of them know I do this. But yeah, you're not wrong. I'm very careful. I'm not going to tell you who I work for. I'm not going to tell you the specifics about what I do. Appreciate you not like trying to like dox me on LinkedIn or whatever. Because, you know, it's kind of by their grace that I even have this flexible schedule that lets me do these streams in the middle of the day. So I'm grateful. I'm not saying I'm not grateful. My frustrations are with the industry at large. They're not with my particular employer. I think I love my job. I like my boss. I like my boss's boss. We have to be thankful, you know. In this economy, you got to be grateful for whatever you got. As frustrating as it might be. I don't talk about streaming at work. Hell no. Five minutes of LLM code is 3 weeks of reviewing code. That does seem to be some people's experience. All right, there are no compiler errors. Let's review our progress here. Add CanvasItem draws. Draw params. Okay, so we get our draw params back from these functions. And I think I'm actually going to change this so that we don't have to do this switch statement. But right now we're going to do it because that's how we're set up. That's how we're set up. Scotty, you're same boat. You like your job. You like your team. There are larger things that are really frustrating. You realize I have a Ko-Fi? That's neat. I do. It's in the bottom left of every single stream that like I've done. I think ever. I think one person has used it in the 2 years that I've streamed. But you don't need to do that. It's there. I have a day job. My bills are paid. I appreciate it. We did just add memberships to YouTube. People are on YouTube and they hang out here a lot and they feel like they want some of the benefits of membership, of which there aren't that many. There's only a few, but it's there. We're becoming more legitimate by the day. I'm a YouTube partner now. Isn't that crazy? Which just means that I get notifications telling me I can't monetize my videos because of the music I play during the stream. But hey, we're arriving. I wouldn't say we've arrived, but I feel like we're pulling into the station. Super tiny. Yeah, it is kind of tiny. I should maybe do something about that. I forget sometimes that like people are watching me on like their phone and stuff. There's a card on Twitch, but there's the only other way to see it. All right, so we got our drop params. Now what do we do? Here we kept track of the count. I don't feel like we need to do that. So what we could do instead is we would say draws draw params.zindex.add Draw params. So we add it to the list of draw params. We're doing this kind of unordered, which is neat. Which is why eventually I think we could do some kind of component-based unordered operation to like figure this stuff out. Instead of having to do this all via spatial data. You're watching on your PC and responding with your phone. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. I know people have a hard time with the Twitch app sometimes. I don't really use it. I might use it more if I get called back into the office, you know what I'm saying? Okay, so we have this. We have it in our draw list. Is there anything else we do? I don't think there is. I think there's something we need to do at the end of this series, but what we could do here is we can say add canvas item draws. We need to put in the block tags buffer. We're not going to put in a mask right now. I'm just going to test it with opaque geometry. Actually, that's a good point. We're going to need to do something for... I haven't quite decided how I want to handle transparent, semi-transparent stuff. We could just draw it over the opaque stuff. Or we could put it on a separate layer. And I'm not quite sure what the best option is yet. I haven't really figured out what the best option is yet. Hey, Commander Apollo. It's Scotty. It's strange. Twitch has a much nicer viewer to streamer experience, but the video bandwidth is far greater on YouTube. Makes you wonder if that's why the viewership over there is larger. Oh yeah, our viewership on YouTube is much higher. I think it's just nicer. I think if you're passively viewing, like you just want some music, you want a voice in the background, a soothing, sonorous voice talking about something that's like kind of interesting, but not really. Something that's, it's like the Brian Eno of ambient definition of ambient music. It has to be like interesting enough to hold your attention, but boring enough that you can ignore it. That's what I try to offer. So I think if you're just passively hanging out with us throughout the day, you're just channel surfing and like co-working and stuff, I think YouTube is the place to be, which is why I think you get a lot more lurkers. And then the people who really want to like come in hot to the chat, I think you find those people on Twitch. I was talking about this with someone yesterday. I also think that your Twitch viewers will follow you as you go from content to content, but I don't know if YouTube viewers do that. I think YouTube viewers are more interested in a specific niche, like a specific kind of experience. And there's a lot of data to suggest that if your YouTube channel pivots in a new direction, you lose a lot of the viewers that you've gained over time. But we're doing game dev. We're doing game dev here for at least the next, 6 or 7 or 8 years. So hang tight. Stay gold. We'll be here. Keeping the lights on. How's it going, Commander Apollo? How have you been doing? Right now, you think you have a 30-second delay on Twitch. I think the delay on YouTube is worse, to be fair. All right, so we're adding our canvas draws for all our opaque tiles. You been good? You're working on some tabletop game stuff? Oh, hell yes. Like some physical tabletop game stuff? I love that. I wish I had the time, the space, and the money to be doing physical tabletop stuff. Obviously, you don't need all of those things. You could have any two of those things you can work with, but it's like the constructor's triangle for tabletop. Physical and digital. Nice. It's a big passion of yours. Awesome. Yeah. Yeah, you and a few people here, like Nanigans. Nanigans does a lot of tabletop stuff. Oh yeah, Duber, you're Hoji Rick. I forget that. Everyone in here is so cool. They have like 3 or 4 different aliases. I forget it sometimes. Arneo, does that mean it's one of those board games where you have to put a cassette tape on while you play it? That sounds awesome, Arneo. All right, so we're gonna do all the draws. We're gonna add all our canvas item draws, and then at the end, what we're gonna need to do is we need to sort them and send them over. So how are we gonna do that? How are we gonna do that? So the sorting is pretty easy. We could just say for each list, canvas item, draw params in. For each list in draws, we could just say list dot sort. So we want to sort in place. Is there a span dot sort? I don't think so. I mean, it makes sense because a span is not data, it's a window into data. So you couldn't sort a span automatically. You're simultaneously developing a digital and video game, or I assume you mean physical and video game version of a game. That's so cool. Someone was talking to me about like the board game version of Slay the Spire. Thanks for the hearts. I see those reactions. I do see them. Big heart. Arneo, digital first is a good way to test stuff for tabletop since you can kind of mass produce pieces for something like Tabletop Simulator and try it out. That's true. If you're doing Tabletop Simulator, on the converse side, a lot of people will say that you can quickly prototype your digital ideas in physical because you can just make basic cards and stuff like that. Well, here's Nyx with the predictable hydrate command. Thanks for the stretch. Smooth in a second. But yeah, it's funny. It's funny how it can work both ways. Like, digital can be a good way to test a tabletop game, but tabletop can be a good way to prototype a gameplay loop without having to develop all the systems for it first, because you can just, like, print out cards and, like, try it out. Commander, I want to call you Captain Apollo because that's the... It makes me think of Apollo from BSG. Your game is a war game originally meant to just be a digital version of the game Trench Crusade, but that game is very intensive, extensive rules, so you're making a simpler game. I think that's a great call. But yeah, what I was saying before, I was like, you know, we could probably do the sorting in like threads if it's slow. But yeah, Slay the Spire board game sounds so crazy because there's so many rules that need to be observed. I don't know how it works, but people say it's good. BSG is where your username comes from originally? Oh, cool. That's funny. So say we all. Indeed, Rimas. All right, so we're going to sort all our stuff, and then all we got to do now is we have to pass the data back to... You know what we could do? We could probably do this in a single... We could probably do this more simply than what we're doing here. Like, we could probably sort the list, get a span. I don't know if we want to get a span. What we need to do is we need to encode it in a primitives. That's what we need to do. So we need to sort it and then encode it. So let's have a function called like pack canvas item draws. I don't think we need to pass it anything either. So we need to pack this because we want the equivalent of like a packed byte array that we can send over. Actually, maybe what we want to do is we want to call it for an index. We could probably have this part be this for each list sort and then pack. We could probably put this into like threads or something. I don't know. We'll see. And we could probably pass in an index. But right now we're just going to brute force it and do it all at once because we're kind of trying to test how performant this is out of the box. We're heading into ads over on Twitch. Hang tight. Hang tight, my Twitchers. Hold on to your ads. All right, we'll say pack canvas item draws. So we need to pack these and send them over to be distributed back to all the individual canvas items. You know what we don't really need to store in each canvas item draw param is its Z index, but I think we're going to. I think we will remain doing so. Honestly, we could draw all of this to a single canvas item because we are storing those draw calls, or we are storing the Z index, so we could go. We're sorting it by Z index, and right now we're sorting a bunch of lists, and each list is itself. Yeah, that's not very efficient. Yeah, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it for now. We're gonna keep doing what we're doing. Not gonna go crazy. So the way we used to pack this here, over in the tile map layer, is we would send over a bunch of headers, which would tell you how to split the data. We don't need headers anymore. I think all we really need to do is figure out the size of the data that we need to store. We need to do this. We just need to do this section, essentially. We need to do this part up top here. We need to make a byte. We need to make an array, a primitive array of bytes, and then we need to declare that that data is fixed for the duration of this exchange, where we fill the array, send it to Godot, and Godot processes it. We need to make sure that that's not touched by the garbage collector during this time. Easiest way to do that is to define a fixed scope. So that's what we're going to do. It's supposed to help the marshaller know that it doesn't need to do a copy just because it's passing the, from the managed to the unmanaged to native. But does it work that way? I don't know. I am not a good guesser. But that's what we'll do. So we'll make our byte array. We'll probably convert it into an array of shorts like what we did here, because I think we can store all of this data in shorts. I think we have space to do that. I kind of want to double check that. So if we think about there being 32 pixels between each block, and we think that the space is about, we have 64 blocks that are 32 pixels wide. So the largest value we have is going to be 2048. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. So yeah, we can easily store this in a short. You're co-working in the Discord, Hoji Rick? Hell yeah. That's awesome. Let's plug the Discord. Yeah, I don't spend a lot of time in the voice chat. I should probably start doing that more. Yeah, we do have a Discord. If people are interested in sharing their work, I love to see it. If they're new to Godot and they need to ask questions, or if they just want to hang out, we do have a Discord. It is growing every day. It's a good call out. Appreciate that. So we'll get a span of shorts so we can just work in shorts. Then that's pretty cheap to do. Then what we'll do is we'll go through. We still don't care about headers. So all we're really going to do I actually might add version. I might add another parameter back to this just so it's like an even number of things. We really don't need to store the z-index, but I'm doing it. I don't know why. I guess I could imagine a world where we sort multiple z-indexes together or we do something. I'm going to add this back just so it's the right size. We might end up putting a different value here, but I'm going to add version. Might have to, yeah, I don't know, who cares? Not quite sure what I would do with version number. I want to do some kind of dirty flag kind of thing. I know I keep talking about that. I don't know quite what I want to do with that. Let's go back up here. We're going to need to declare another variable in the constructor here, unless I didn't actually add that to anything. No, I did. Thanks for the hydrate, Nix. Oh, Jarek, you typically will work while in Discord since your work is kind of mundane for its technical nature. Talking helps you focus. Yeah, it can. It definitely can. Talking has helped me be more sure about what I'm doing. Because when I work kind of on my own, I'm pretty willing to just kind of flail about. But being able to talk about it definitely can help you focus up for sure. For right now, we will also just declare version to be 0. All right, so now we're going to pack this data in here. Pack CanvasItem draw params. So what we're going to do is we'll declare. Maybe we should call this for each index. Like maybe we should sort the list, do this, send it over. Maybe we should do that in a threaded manner or something. Or maybe we send the data all over at once and then it splits it up in a threaded manner. It's possible. Let's not worry about that right now. Well, forget it. Let's do it. I say we do it. So I kind of want to know what index we're sending over. We can say Z index. And we can say byte. Bytes is a new byte. And it's going to be draws Z index dot. The difference between, oh, they're both count. Length just points to count. Okay, so we'll say count. That was the wrong way to declare that. Here we go. What? What are you upset about? Oh, target type is wrong. Say variable. And here we'll say fixed. And I don't remember how this works, but it's like byte. I don't do a lot of fixed content stuff. Byte, so it's like the pointer. We can just discard it because we're not going to use it. Why doesn't that work? New byte index times unsafe dot size of short. Oh yeah, right. We got to do that. So we got to say index dot count times unsafe dot size of. I know I could just tell it what the size of a short is. Why isn't this working? Fixed byte equals bytes. This looks identical. Why is it not identical? It is identical. What's the haps? Pointers can only be used in unsafe context. Oh no, are we not in an unsafe context? Oh yeah, no, we aren't. There we go. We don't actually use the pointer. We just need to like fix our memory. So we got this. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna have a span of shorts. Marshall, give me the Marshall. Marshall. Memory Marshall, not Marshall. Memory Marshall. I heard that the U.S. military doesn't have the rank of Marshal because early on they didn't want to have a guy named Marshall, which actually would have happened. That's apropos of nothing. If you ever wonder why all the other militaries of the era had marshals and we didn't, I think you can thank 4-star General or Joint Chief of Staff, Mr. Marshall. General Marshall is to thank, I believe. I don't know if that's true. That's just what I've heard. I should stop saying things I don't know that's true that I just hear. It's not a good look. So we don't need that. Don't need that either. Is it worth it to get a span? Here, we can say read-only span. Canvas item draw params. Draws. You can say params. I don't know. Params. Nope, I can't say params. Draws. equals draws the index dot span as span. I believe I need to switch to a new version of .NET to take advantage of this implicit conversion from span to read-only span. But I don't know if that's actually true. Well, we might as well do that just to... Actually, I don't know why we might as well do that, but we might as well. Actually, we might as well do that at the top, huh? Here we can just say draws dot. Is it size or length? It's probably length. And then, so now we've got all of this. And so what we need to do here, we need to keep some kind of count. So we need to say, we need to iterate for in I equals 0, I is less than draws dot length, I plus plus. Actually, I need the index. What we can do is we can say shorts. Push toy, yeah. Can't you just create from the bytes instead of the pointer? Dot to byte. Span byte span equals new byte 5. Span byte span equals. All right, I'm going to think about what you said here. Can't you just create from the bytes instead of the pointer? Span byte span equals new byte 5. So what we say here is we say bytes, new byte, draws.length times unsafe.size of short. No, it can't be a span. We need the primitive byte array, and it has to do with the way that Godot converts primitive arrays to packed arrays. So a byte array can become a packed byte array. To be fair, a short array can be a packed... it has support for more... So we actually don't need it to be a byte array. We did it as a byte array in the tile drawing system because you could actually just plug in a packed byte array of tile map data to a tile map layer. So it was like very one-to-one, which is why we did it this way. We could actually possibly do something else. I was just doing this because it's similar, but if we look at the C#, so if we look at the C# scripting, but no, believe me, I wish I could take a span and pass it back as if it's a primitive array. I wish I could do that. I've tried. Because if we did that, we could do some fun stuff with our component buffers. So if we look at the Godot API for C# collections, yeah, it has to do with the interaction with the engine. So here's the conversion. So yeah. So we actually can't do, there is no such thing as a packed int16 array, which is unfortunate because that's what we want. I don't really want to go up to an int32 array because that's a lot more data. Because we've already determined that the largest numbers we're going to be dealing with can fit into a short. So we're going to send a packed byte array. Yeah. Well, we don't want a uint 16 either because we do have negative numbers. But you know what's really good? Godot's packed array decode stuff is pretty neat. It's really good, actually. As far as I can tell. Yeah. But yeah, push toy, it's a little disappointing. So we'll pack it down to a byte array to make it as small and as possible and try to reduce the chance that we're going to be doing an unnecessary mem copy. At some point, we'll actually profile this and make sure that this is doing what I think it's doing, but we're just going to try to... We're going to try to avoid this unnecessary copy. So what we got going on here? I appreciate everyone hanging out, especially on YouTube. I know we had a lot of issues for the first like 30, 40 minutes of the stream with drop frames and stuff. So sorry if you're watching the VODs and you made it this far. Big heart for you. If you're hanging out here live with us, I hope you're having a great Friday. I hope it's already the weekend for you because it's 5 o'clock somewhere. It's after 5 o'clock on the East Coast. Hope you got some nice weekend plans, even if those weekend plans are just not doing anything. Sitting on the couch with the dog or whoever is important to you in your life. Watch some TV, maybe watch the latest episode of Fallout, which I'm a few episodes behind, so no spoilers. I'll be live tomorrow. We're not done yet. I'm just telling you, I'll be live tomorrow. We're going to do this tomorrow. I'll be in a great mood. I always love our Saturday streams because they're the one streams where I don't have to work before and after. We're not done yet. We're getting close, though. I am running out of time. I know I started late today. I've been having a hard time keeping up with work right now. But I want to finish writing this pack, this data pack. I don't think we're actually going to see anything getting drawn on the screen. I can show the new viewers kind of what the graphic style is using the old tile map layer method, but we're so back. Yeah, Commander Apollo. Insert meme of astronaut with gun saying, "We've never left." We're actually getting very close to like Darmok and Jalad on the ocean. We're getting very close to that point in our society. Jeremiah Johnson nodding approvingly. Wistful smile. Timba, his eyes open. Okay. All right. All right, Dave. Get it together. Starting to get the giggles. Do I watch Critical Role at all, Hoji Rick? You know, I don't. I've tried. I'm tempted to try again soon. I'm not a big... It's shocking to hear, but I'm actually not a huge podcast listener, stream watcher, whatever. I have a really hard time focusing when people are talking to me. Spoiler. I usually listen to music, or I watch a stream and I'm like super just zoned out completely, which is probably what Critical Role could be for me because I do like D&D. I'm familiar with the rules. Everyone involved in that team is very funny and entertaining. I've tried to watch those and I've gotten to the end of an episode and been like, I have no idea what happened over the last 4 hours. If you want a fresh start, you can start with campaign 4. I'm tempted to do so because I still get Matt Mercer. Matt Mercer's like a player in this campaign, right? But I get a whole new context, and I don't have to know 3 campaigns worth of backstory. Yeah, that's pretty tempting. I might give campaign 4 a try. So we're just gonna do this sort of thing. We're gonna go through the indexes. So we need to index through in shorts and then fill in the empty space like this. So we pick the initial index and then we just add. This is a lot of data we're sending over. Each of these CanvasItem draw params is effectively 16 ints, which makes it what? Half a kilobyte? Am I wrong? Am I wrong on my math of what 16 ints are? They're int32s when they're stored like this. I guess they're not int32s when we send them over. So we're taking 32-bit integers, of which we have 16. Yeah, that's 512 bytes, and we're shrinking them down to int16. So at least we're going to be cutting the size in half. I think that's a worthy size saving to attempt. I think if it was any less than half, I would be like, who cares? Brennan Lee Mulligan is the DM. That's right. That's right. I've never been a Dimension 20 enjoyer, so I'm not very familiar with Brennan, but I'm interested to see Matt be like very trolly as a player. All right, so what we're gonna do here, so our index. $16 ints is 64 bytes. How is that true, Push Toy? Oh, I'm mixing up bits and bytes. Sorry, I'm saying the wrong. I'm saying bits. I'm meaning bits and saying bytes. The ints are 32 bits. We have 16 32-bit integers, which is 512 bits, not bytes. Very clear. We're still cutting the size down by half, right? Thank you. Thank you for clarifying. Sometimes I say bits when I mean bytes and vice versa. But yes, thank you. I thought it was a little large when I was like, a CanvasItem param is half a kilobyte. It's half a kilobit. And then there's a whole nother world of like, I don't even want to get into it, but there's a whole world where it's like, is it 1,000? Is it 1024? Is it? It's too much. Too much. Hey, Vamuse in the house. How's it going? Gets donated to thanks for the bites. Yeah, thanks for so long and thanks for all the bites. I would say bits. So long and thanks for all the bits. How's it going? You were working on some cool stuff yesterday when I saw your stream. You're a real pixel artist. Happy for Friday. Same. All right, so what we can do is we can say shorts I times 16 plus 0. Don't ignore my plus 0. I'm doing this for my own sanity. Equals. I need to have the CanvasItem, don't I? Where's our span? It's draws. So it's draws I dot CanvasIrect.x. Oh, it's convert to int 16. So it's this. I think this is essentially going to be our process here. Thanks for the hydrate. Don't put that on you. There are real pixel artists who would take offense. It's funny. I think you're a real pixel artist. You're a real one to me here. All right, I'm going to write this out. We are not going to test it because I do not think it's going to run. And I think tomorrow is going to be the big day for actually getting something drawing to the screen. It's going to be drawing in the wrong place. I can already tell you that. But we're going to be in good shape, I think, by the end of tomorrow. I hope. I hope so. So is this going to work? I'm creating this based on the wrong thing. It's not draws.length times size of short. It's draws.length times... It's actually times unsafe dot size. Well, it's not the size of. It's times 16 times 16, because that's the number of parameters that we have in a CanvasItem draw param. I was about to do like size of CanvasItem draw params, but that's wrong because that would give me the size of the int 32 bits all 32-bit ints all added together. You searched your own code base for +0 square bracket with 33 results. All right, it's nice to know I'm in good company. You're not a real pixel artist. You just play one on TV. Don't we all? Don't we all? I'm not a real game dev. I just play one on TV. All right, I'm going to finish writing this and then we're going to wrap up. Practicing my typing speed here. Hot take, typing speed is overrated, the Muse. Being able to type 200 words a minute means nothing if it's full of typos. True. And also if it's like thoughtless. Yeah, there's like a content and also like an accuracy problem. Very true. It's like how people say, I think the more important thing is read speed and reading accuracy, right? Like, how quickly can you read and understand your own code? Because you spend way more time reading code than you spend writing it. So, like, readability is definitely way more important than how quickly you can put it down. That's definitely true. I don't actually need to do the +0 thing. I thought it was cheeky. Nothing against push toy. I actually think +0 is totally reasonable. I do it a lot. Like, I'll avoid combining different factors, like different magic numbers together so that I actually remember that they're magic numbers and not just like a sum. Now you just feel embarrassed. Don't worry. I'm up here every day embarrassing myself. Every day I'm doing something deeply questionable. And I do it the trick is to do it confidently. This is in the wrong order. QRST. Okay, I missed one. This should be texture ID. This should be version. Reading comprehension, exactly. Yeah, Vimuse. You would say for code, it's more important that it's nicely organized and well formatted. So when it breaks, it's easy. Yeah. Yeah, I actually got burned the other day because I was reusing. I declared a variable and I was like reusing it throughout the function. So I was like, what am I going to do? Like allocate another variable when I could just reuse this one we used before? It made debugging it so hard because I kept reassigning this variable. And so the debugger was useless because it would just tell me what the last value of that variable was when I was like, no, I want to know what it was like up here, not what it was like at the bottom. Yeah, so I'm coming around to readability, even over performance sometimes. Like, sometimes. Let's not go crazy. Says the guy who's like bothering to like compress his like packets down to like from like int32 to like int16 just to save on some data. Technically, I'm trying to save on a copy, but I'm also trying to save on space. All right, that's it. This is we've taken our CanvasItem drop params, converted them to int16s, and packed them in here. And then down here, like at the bottom, we need to be like, send to game object for, well, I'll say relay to game object to send back to the tile mosaic. I'm gonna lowercase tile mosaic canvas items. We'll put a to do here. Also, this can't be a void. It needs to be byte array. Actually, it's not going to return anything. I guess it's going to, well, maybe we put the to-do up here and we say return bytes. Oh, no, this has to be in the fixed context. We have to do the whole thing here. So that is a void. So this shouldn't be packed. This should be like send. Or maybe relay. I don't know. Let's add that to do back. And then we'll throw a not implemented exception. It's so tempting to reuse variables. It feels like it's wasteful to do otherwise until you spend an entire Saturday trying to figure out which dothink.js you want. Yeah. Yeah. Or you do like Vimuse and write think instead of thing. Oh yeah, you've got another think coming. That's correct. That's the correct way to to say that. Hey, Mugiwara, you're back. Well, we're wrapping things up, Mugiwara. I'm sorry to say. But we will be back tomorrow. I have a lot of work waiting for me back in my day job here. I'm not pleased. Thanks for the hydrate, Nix. But yeah, I'm pretty pleased. We wrote pretty much the whole rest of our CanvasItem drawing system. This is going to take... Oh, this takes an index. Why? Why did I write this such that it took an index? we're gonna say, let's forget about this for now. I'll put this, and I'm gonna put like, I'm gonna say like the index or something. We're also not calling this pack anymore. We're calling it like send or something. Just, you aced 2 chapters of physics, or you ate 2 chapters of physics? Slightly different. Oh, sorry for the flashbang. But yeah, this was awesome. The stream got off to a rough start, but we rallied. And I appreciate everyone hanging out today. We got a lot of people over in the YouTube. Either we have a lot of people over in the YouTube, or the YouTube stats aren't accurate. I don't know which it is, but you know, I appreciate you all. You ate them. Oh, you just, okay. You ate those 2 chapters of physics. All right. I hope you left no crumbs, as they say, as the kids say. All right. No more Gen Z cringe imitations from me for today. Important caveat. Have a good one. You too, Apollo. We'll be back tomorrow. I'm sure you all have better things to do on your Saturday than hang out here. But if you don't, hopefully I see you. So yeah, I want to thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you all next time. Bye.
Maximum warp. He's dead, Jim.